Welcome back to Fast Market on the Schwab Network. I'm Diane King Hall alongside Kevin Hinks, who's joining from the CBO. As you know, we've got you covered from exchange to exchange. Time now for our cash tag segment. For that, we want to bring in our next guest. That's Andy Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio. Andy joining us with new data on Nike today. Nike has earnings due after the bell. This is one very much that gives you the idea of what consumer habits are and what their interests are. In recent years, Nike's been losing ground to Hoka, to On. Andy, what does your latest data show?
Yeah, our latest data shows that, the Nike executives like to claim that a turnaround is underway, but our data just doesn't show that. If you look at Nike web traffic on a 90-day moving average, it's really been on a steady decline since 2023, which is mirrored almost identically the stock's multi-year slide. And we aren't seeing any signs of a big turnaround there. And, web visits are a key component of understanding consumer demand for Nike's products. This is how people figure out what shoe they might like, what size might be available, compare and contrast the different models of shoes that Nike offers. So it's a really big deal that their web visits are down. And then when we look at it versus competitors, like you just alluded to, you can just see Nike is facing an onslaught of really competent competition, I think, for the first time in its existence. It used to be, is Nike better than Reebok? Yes. Is Nike better than Converse? Yes. That was kind of as far as you needed to go with it. But now these shoe companies are coming, from all angles, and a lot of them are really capturing the exclusivity, the premium brand. They're upstarts and they have a little bit more aggressiveness about their marketing or their positioning. And it just feels like Nike's gotten lazy. And I think that shows through in the enthusiasm that consumers have for its products or the lack thereof. So, we are not betting on a Nike turnaround, at least at this point. We think that the company obviously has what it needs in hand to do so. It's just we haven't seen any indication that it's working yet.
Andy, this is a concerning discussion we're having here because this is a company that's basically been selling off for 4 straight years. One article I read said they've been slowly reducing CapEx spending, which is concerning if you're trying to regain, your swagger. You shouldn't be spending less. Andy, the numbers continue to get worse, but one good news for this company is that the comps, the earnings that they're going to compare themselves to coming up in the next year are going to be really brutal. So the numbers, how they compare themselves, might get a little better. Their CEO Elliott Hill, if he gets the company to start turning around, the news flow is pretty negative on Nike. Their big announcement, they have a Kim Kardashian line. I can't believe I read that when they have a Kim Kardashian line. Give us some ray of hope, Andy, that this company can at least, when the bar is going to be incredibly low, what is something other than the comps, which is not a great reason to feel good about the company. Is there anything that you're seeing that gives you a glimmer of hope for the future, Andy?
Yeah, it's not great when your biggest opportunity is that the bar has gotten lowered to a point where we think you might be able to now get over it, rather than increasing the height of the bar that you're trying to get over. And I think that goes to the core of Nike's problem. I actually ran across yesterday this incredible, somewhat famous video of Steve Jobs addressing Apple executives and talking about what Apple's going to be and what it is and the vision that it has for itself. And he specifically references Nike and puts Nike up on this pedestal of this company that knows exactly what it is. And it's not about the products. It's not about the specs. It's about, it's about celebrating great athletes. And I can't remember the last time that I thought of Nike in that way, as Andre Agassi, as Michael Jordan, as celebrating great athletes. It's been all about the product lines and the different celebrities that might like the shoes, like Kim Kardashian. And I think they really just need to get back to that core, that aspirational, core where, and inside of all of us, we want to be champions. And if you can evoke that in us, then we're more likely to buy your product. But if you're just going spec for spec, then you're going to lose to OnCloud, you're going to lose to Hoka, and you're just not as cool as you used to be. So get back to that. That would be the hopeful message I want to hear from this company in the earnings call.
That's a fair point. It's interesting, the footage that we're showing. One of my friends actually worked on this campaign. Let me ask you this, Andy. So Nike has obviously been losing some ground to Hoka. Do you think there's any potential for a tailwind in the holiday shopping season? Because to be fair, that is coming up and people are looking for things to check off the list.
Yeah, I think their best shot at that is to discount, which is not probably what investors want to hear. Because again, like we've talked about several times in our conversations together, there's a divide that is growing between the consumers that have and the consumers that have not. And unfortunately, Nike is pretty well positioned in the consumers that have not. And so I think they're going to have to discount into this holiday season to get some real traction, but hopefully they can turn that into longer term momentum. We'll have to kind of wait and see.
Okay, thank you, Andy, for bringing the latest data that you all have. That's Andy Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio. And let's talk a little bit about expectations going into this too, Kevin. And I want to bring